Hello, good morning. This is a quick video, as promised, on the supplements that I take. And I'm not just going to talk about the supplements, but also kind of like the food additives, if you will, not just like actual pills and so forth. So, as everyone knows, I'm a proponent of whole foods, and I am definitely try to keep the processing out of my life as much as possible. Now, it's not always possible. You'll see some of that here. So the first one I do is I have, and of course, also I'd like to mention before we start this that I have no affiliation with any of these companies or products or whatsoever. There's absolutely no ads or anything. These are just the ones that I happen to use. You can do your own research and find out which ones will work for you or which ones you like. Most of this stuff I pick up from either my local grocery store or from Amazon. And so the first one that I take this acetyl L-carnitine 3 times a day, once with each meal. And what this does is it helps, for me anyway, at least I find, that it helps me mobilize my fat. So this is my only real assistant kind of in terms of a supplement that expediates slightly. I mean, a little wee slightly. What it does is it mobilizes my energy from my fat stores, and you still have to burn it off, right? So that's where I pick up my movement and my workouts and everything. Next one everybody, in my opinion, should have is good cod liver oil. I'm not a fan of taking vitamin D per se, because you never really know where its sources are from, and you can kind of get involved in a situation where you take too much of it. This is my source of vitamin A and vitamin D primarily. This one happens to be 1,000 milligrams. I take this twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. I don't take it at lunchtime, because I'm usually out by that time, out in the sun, for at least, usually about an hour. So I usually give myself a little bit of a break during the day, try to reduce the amount of any types of capsules or anything. This one's very, very, very important. This is magnesium. Now, I take magnesium citrate. I used to take magnesium taurate, but it was very hard to find here in Canada, and it cost a fortune for me to get it shipped up from the States, like $150 a bottle. It was really insane. And so I just switched over to citrate. Whatever you do, do not take oxide, because magnesium oxide, because it's not going to give you the benefits that you need for muscle recovery and a lot of the other important processes, because it does not get absorbed properly. So magnesium citrate I found to be the best for me anyway, the best balance between cost and effectiveness. These ones in particular are 400 milligrams. I take these twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Now this also kind of helps me, let's just say, with my daily movements. But yeah, because I used to have really bad case of SIBO, and there was some backing up. This keeps me regular, or helps anyway. Keep me. I just take a regular multivitamin. This one's from Progressive. This one happens to be the active, which gives me a little bit more energy balance, and specifically formulated for muscle growth, muscle optimization, muscle recovery, and energy. So that's the one that I take. And I take this once a day in the morning. For me personally, I've had some issues later on with digestion, and I eat a lot of protein. So I take 3 times a day with each meal. I take Enzyme Force. So this is a broad spectrum digestive enzyme. And this I find really helps me, not just digestion, but also keeps bloating down. This is, to be honest with you, I've tried many of them, and this is the one that seems to work the best for all types of foods that I eat. And it has a good balance of the enzymes on the back. It might be hard to pick up here, but now not everyone's going to need these, but if you're eating a large amount of fiber and or protein, I would suggest you pick up a broad spectrum enzyme. So everyone knows, if you're working out, I have a love-hate relationship with creatine monohydrate. However, I'm back on it. When I'm dieting, I tend to not want to take it. Now that's just my own personal preference when I'm trying to really kind of cut aggressively, but I'm not really doing that. I'm just doing it slow and steady, so I can try to get the benefits of the extra creatine. If you're going to drink the extra creatine, if you're going to take the extra creatine, you should I highly recommend that you drink extra water, and a lot of it. I notice that seems to help whenever I'm taking creatine. So because I am slightly lactose intolerant, I do 100% whey protein isolate. Now for me, I take 2 scoops of this a day, and that's in conjunction with my 2 or 3, depending on my workout schedule, 2 or 3 full portions of meat. That meat we'll talk about in my dietary video that should be coming up in a bit. But suffice to say, this is my supplement for extra protein, making sure that I target the good old standard of 1 gram per ideal body weight. And for me, it's about 175, but to be honest with you, quite often I'm up at the 200. And that's because I am, quite active, and I'm older. So I'm just turned 50. So this extra 25 grams kind of helps offset the acceleration of the sarcopenia. And so with this one, you can see when I look for this, I want to make sure that when it says there's 27 grams, when I look on the scoop, it should be 27 grams, and there shouldn't be anything else added at all whatsoever. And so this is basically pure grass-fed whey protein isolate. It's not a blend. There's nothing else funky in it. And this one is completely unflavored. So this one I find, for me personally, because I'm sensitive to lactose, this one has been a big help, because it doesn't really set me off. It doesn't make my stomach, excuse me, it doesn't make my stomach bloated and feel horrible, because it's just the whey and nothing else. There's no lactose or anything in that. So now we're kind of getting, that's the core of my regular supplements, if you will. But now we're kind of going to get into some of the small kind of food type stuff. First one is a good bone broth, grass-fed bone broth, and this one's beef. And I take the 1 scoop of this, or 15 grams per day. And to be honest with you, I actually have this in my second cup of coffee. I have 2 cups of black coffee. In my second one, I put bone broth, a scoop of bone broth, because I don't actually like the taste of it, to be honest with you. I don't like the taste of any bone broths. But I need the collagen and the gelatin to make sure that my intestinal linkage is nice and tight, right? So I don't get any leaky gut or anything like that. Plus, because I'm getting older, the collagen really helps. Actually, I personally have noticed the collagen helps with my skin and hair, big time, actually. So, but in conjunction with that, to give it a little bit of flavor, I'll use some Ceylon cinnamon. So I'll put a little bit of, just pour a bit in here. I'd say maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe up to half sometimes of a teaspoon of cinnamon, with my scoop of bone broth and my second cup of coffee. The next thing I'd like to say is, this is another thing that I've added on a regular basis, which is the nutritional yeast. If you've never had it, it's a great, awesome source of B vitamins. And rather than taking another pill, as you can see, I would much rather get it from a bioavailable form. And so this has been great. This actually tastes, I'll be honest with you, it tastes like cheese puffs or cheesies. So I actually put it on my eggs, scrambled eggs in the morning, every morning. And it turns my eggs into nice, tastes like cheese puff eggs, or Cheeto eggs, without all the other nonsense that's in cheesies or cheese puffs and stuff like that. So find a way to get this into your diet. It's actually good. I've also sprinkled it on boiled eggs, believe it or not. But this has really been a lot of help as well, I find. The last thing is, this is grade A ground kelp. And the reason why I take 1/8 of a teaspoon of this, which actually looks like this. 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's quite small, right, in comparison. It's the smallest one of my medicine measuring spoons. So literally I'll just take that, and then I'll take it right now. It's a little bit gritty. Takes a little while to get used to. It doesn't have very little taste at all. But the reasoning behind this is because I don't use standard table salt. I use either Himalayan or sea salt. Sorry, it's pretty gritty. And so I don't get a source of good iodine. So that's ultimately my source of iodine for the day. And that's it. That's all I take in terms of supplements or food additives. And hopefully that might give you an idea of where you might want to go in terms of staying healthy and kind of mobilizing fat and increasing protein. Pretty standard stuff. Shouldn't be nothing really out of the surprise or out of the norm. And we will actually do another full video coming up on my complete diet and what I eat on a normal day, kind of give some people some kind of bearing as to what's really helped me in terms of my diet. Again, I'm not an influencer or I have no affiliation with any of these products. I just want to try to give people an idea of what I do or what I've done to kind of come back from healthy, unhealthy to healthy, and hopefully it'll help some other people. If you stay on a course and just stay steady, this eventually this chain, hopefully will help you because it's helped me. Again, have a great day. Take care.